Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Al, are there any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda?
Mayor, I have no changes to the agenda at this time.
Thank you. We have a consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve, or is there any item that needs to be pulled for discussion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion, a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2018-30. Resolution number 2018-30 approves an amendment to the non-exclusive license and use agreement between United States Sugar Corporation and the City of Clewiston regarding the non-exclusive use of premises for the placement of a Welcome to the City of Clewiston sign. Again, resolution number 2018-30 by title, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving an amendment to the non-exclusive license and use agreement between United States Sugar Corporation and the City of Clewiston, Florida. Gary, has the agreement been reviewed?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any issues with it?
There are none. The state of Florida didn't like the language in the initial license agreement, and U.S. Sugar agreed to the change necessary for the state to approve it.
Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2018-30? Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2018-31 supports community aesthetic feature signs of the city limits and approves a community aesthetic feature agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation and the City of Clewiston. Resolution number 2018-31, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, supporting community aesthetic feature signs at the city limits and approving a community aesthetic feature agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation and the City of Clewiston. And this agreement as well reviewed, and any issues?
No issues.
Okay.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, the next two agenda items are also to do with our new welcome signs. The first one stating that we will maintain the sign after completion. The next one stating that we will maintain the landscape to a certain standard after completion.
Okay. I was just looking at this one on the aesthetics part. Okay. And I apologize. Under the item number 3, 2018-31, was there any, I know staff looked at the actual signage itself. Al, is there anything else that you'd like to add on that one?
No, Mayor.
Okay.
Nothing to add there.
All right. So resolution number 2018-32, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, authorizing and approving an agreement between the City of Clewiston and the Florida Department of Transportation regarding post-project maintenance of an on-system transportation enhancement. This is the City of Clewiston agreement regarding the post-project maintenance of the 2 gateway entry signs on the east and west end of Clewiston. The actual signage rendering is in page 36 of 36, Exhibit B. Any questions? Any comments?
Well, I looked at the sign, man. I'm very happy the way the final rendition came out. Looking forward to seeing it go up. I think it captures everything that we are.
Okay, I know staff worked on it for quite a while. And the DOT, of course, also rendered I guess it was their rendition that came to us.
Opinions and
And
expertise.
the location of everything. Okay. And this is just what the sign looks like for the public.
Mayor, one thing that I would like to say that at no point do I want to say that we're a golf court friendly community on here.
No, that won't be on these signs.
Please don't.
All right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Just in case.
That was just a quick blast. We got those down.
Just in case.
Okay, again, resolution number 2018-32. I've read it by title. And is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, resolution number 2018-33 authorizes the mayor to execute the landscape maintenance memorandum agreement between the state of Florida Department of Transportation and the city of Clewiston regarding the landscaping maintenance of the landscaping improvements to be installed within the unpaved areas of the right-of-way of Highway 27. Resolution number of the City of Clewiston, Florida, authorizing and approving an agreement between the City of Clewiston and the Florida Department of Transportation regarding maintenance of landscape improvements. Al? This is again in regards to the sign.
Correct.
Okay.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Resolution number 2018-34 authorizes the mayor, a representative to apply for and accept a beautification grant and enter into a beautification grant landscape construction and maintenance memorandum of agreement between the City of Clewiston and the Florida Department of Transportation. The resolution number is 2018-34, resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, authorizing the mayor or designated representative to apply and accept a beautification grant, landscape construction and maintenance memorandum agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation. I know Lynn's here. Lynn, if you'd like to come forward and just give us an update on this.
The next grant cycle opens October 1st, and we were going to apply for Phase 3, but Melanie McGahee said if you can apply for more than one grant, why not apply for Phase 4 also at the same time? And I didn't think that DOT would go for that since it's phases of the same project, but they said that they would. So Al authorized our architect to go ahead and continue the design, and we've got trees going all the way out to Lopez now on Phase 4.
Okay.
And that's what we're applying for. Each grant would be $100,000 each.
Have we heard back from Phase 3 yet?
Well, this would be both applications we'd be
we're
submitting in
both of them.
October. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be about 60 more trees for
Okay,
both phases.
and then this would complete the original vision in 2015 for the Florida Highway Beautification Council that awarded to the City of Clewiston for the 121 Royal Palms and the irrigation system along the 2.16 miles of Sugarland Highway.
Right, I think
It's
we'll
a little bit
actually
more
extend
now
it.
because originally it was Olympia. This is going out to Lopez.
Right,
Okay.
right. We're going to go a little farther, and I think you have the concept
Right.
for both phases. And I don't know if we'll win both or either, but I think we'll at least get Phase 3 done, hopefully.
Okay. Well, that's a hope.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Recommend motion is to approve resolution number 2018-34.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2018-35 authorizes the mayor to execute the sewer line construction and connection agreement with Sugarland Plaza Incorporated regarding the construction of sewer utilities along the east side of Verner Road. Resolution number 2018-35, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving a sewer line construction and connection agreement between Sugarland Plaza and the City of Clewiston. Gary, I know that there's an agreement here. Is this an agreement that you prepared on behalf of the city?
I prepared an agreement, sent it to the Sugarland Plaza people. They objected to a couple of points in it and sent it back. And this is what they have agreed to. In the future, with respect to these kind of agreements, I would suggest that the agreement be entered into before the work is done, not afterwards, because it leaves the city in a precarious position, because now you're arguing over what was agreed to.
Was there anything in writing that was agreed to?
Well, nothing that I saw.
Okay. Al, was there anything in writing agreed to?
No.
Okay.
No, this started, they wanted us to install the line, and we told them we were not going to install the line, that they needed to install the line. So then they asked us, if we install it, will you maintain it? And we said yes. It's on our right-of-way underneath our sidewalk, so
Okay.
they
What-
bared the cost of construction for the new line.
Okay. I know that the city engineer is here. What were the concerns that you had, Gary, with this agreement?
The concern was that the agreement gives the people that built the line, the Sugarland Plaza people, the right to connect whatever they build on that property at any time in the future into that sewer line without any additional connection fees. My concern was it went on forever. It should have, in my opinion, it should have a date certain that the agreement extends to, and not beyond that date. That was the main concern.
Okay. Scott, as a city engineer, can you just go over this project with us?
This is a project to provide sewer service for the Dunkin' Donuts and the Med Express. And because it's a private entity developing it, they're responsible for extending the utilities to their city.
But I agree with Gary. Now, they did not sign the agreement that you sent them, Gary?
No, sir. They rejected the agreement I suggested, deleted the provisions I just talked about, and sent this one back.
But Dunkin' Donuts already had sewer service. Is that not correct, Scott?
No, Dunkin' Donuts had a grinder pump that pumped sewer through a force main to our existing lift station. And while that's okay to do on an individual basis, you don't want to start connecting lots of users that way.
It's also been a maintenance issue since they have opened
Right.
for us.
So my question is, if they disagree, council, to sign the agreement, why did we let them start the construction? I mean,
Well, that was my point earlier, sir. This agreement is being brought to you after the fact. They've already built that sewer line. And I probably have connected to it, right?
No,
Okay, well, they've
it's
built...
under construction.
It's under construction now. So, I didn't get a chance in advance to talk to them about what the agreement should say. And they believed that they had an agreement with the city. If they built the line, they could forever connect to it, whatever they built in the future, for forever. And so I didn't get a chance to really lawyer that point with them, because I didn't even know about the agreement until it came here.
So I have a question then. So Scott, you just said this is for Dunkin' Donuts and for the Med Express. But Gary, you're saying that they will be able to tie into the sewer line from this development at any time?
From Sugarland Plaza, they are able to tie in any development that occurs on that to the sewer line without any connection fees, basically forever.
Okay, well, I think I agree with you, Gary.
yeah,
I think I have some concerns.
Well, I do too, but I think they're built out also with the amount of parking spaces they have. with the total plaza.
They may be
That-
at this point.
That gives them no more leeway. Am I right or wrong?
That's the opinion of the utility director. Danny's on vacation, not going to be here tonight, but he said the location of the line, the chances of somebody tying in is very unlikely. If the Royal Plaza was to build on the rear of the property, there's sewer on the rear of the property that could be connected to. And if they were to build up in one of the front parcels, which I'm not sure they could also go towards the Wendy's location rather than go across to this one.
But, I've seen over the years where right now we might think we're making the right decision or a decision that's been recommended, and that there's a future impact that we're not aware of right here. And I'm concerned about that.
Well, Molly, they haven't hooked up yet. They've got to get a permit for the building. And we just don't do the permit unless they sign our contract.
So you're saying that the contract that Gary originally wanted them to sign is what
Right.
needs to be signed? Okay.
Okay, so the folks that built, I had this long discussion with the folks that have agreed to build this sewer line. And they claim that they had this agreement with the city staff in advance. That's why they put the money out and built the sewer line, and they're relying on that, and they're not going to change their mind. So they feel that they have a reliance issue because it was represented to them by whoever talked to them, I don't know,
Okay.
that they could get free connection fees forever no matter what they redevelop that property for.
But you said we can put a date on that. I mean, let them hook up
No,
the
he's
Med
saying
Express and the Dunkin' Donuts now, but the next one they hook up to,
that's not what this agreement is saying, is what you're telling us.
No, it doesn't have a limitation on a number of years. I think it should have a limitation on a number of years that they have free connection fees.
Okay, Scott, obviously as a city engineer, you've had discussions with city staff and with this Sugarland Plaza.
Steve Royal, isn't it?
Right.
And what is your, what was agreed upon in the conversations that you've been in?
That they would construct the line, and it's the city's line. City would maintain the line.
Okay, but as far as the fees on hooking up in the future?
I think Danny waived the fees for them to hook up this time if they would construct the line. They were very insistent that the city build the line for them, and we resisted that.
Right.
But in the future?
It's first I've heard of that they would have unlimited hookups in the future. That seems kind of silly.
Okay. All right. Gary, as the attorney, what is your recommendation at this point in regards to this? As you can see, I think there's some of us that have concerns about accepting a document that you're not, as a city attorney, you're not, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you don't believe it's in the best interest of the city.
I think it should expire at the maximum 10 years in the future. Their right to hook in without connection fees. And I would recommend that you not sign it unless that's included in the document.
Okay.
I think I think as we encourage businesses to come to our city, that's an impact fee that we should look at anyway. I mean, that may entice somebody to, continue the development. That's what we want. We want to continue development. So, I think maybe the 10 years is probably fair. To where if they want to add something there, that that may be the difference between them coming in.
Sure.
How much would that be? Can somebody share that with me? Like the Med Express, what would be the impact fee that they would pay if they were paying? Who would know that number?
Danny would know that number through the utility department.
But we've already said those two, Dunkin' Donut and the
Med Express.
Right.
Med Express. So that's an agreement. We agree to that, but we don't agree that they could hook anything up from forever.
I think he said 10 years, I think, that's what he
Well,
recommended.
and this is the issue.
Now, you recommended 10 years.
Right,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
They recommended that they have
Forever,
Right.
right.
Well, and then Scott tonight said it's Dunkin' Donuts and Med Express, but this agreement does not delineate that. It just says Sugarland Plaza Incorporated. And so, again, I don't want to make a decision that has such a big future impact if there's additional development. And I don't want to just keep adding something to this agreement tonight without you and staff and looking at this and the city engineer and address the concerns that we have. That is my opinion, gentlemen.
Yes, I mean, it's too late now, man. The Med Express is gonna hook up and Dunkin' Donuts is gonna hook up.
Well,
you
not
know.
unless we approve this tonight.
Well,
If there's some concerns, then the attorney needs to go back and we need to address those concerns before we proceed with this agreement. We have a meeting in 2 weeks.
the only thing, Mayor, that I'm concerned, I don't wanna hold up the project, development of.
And I don't either, but also we have to look at the safeguard for the city for the future and
The line's already in.
understand. I understand the lands and it's been
And-
approved
and
for 2 right now.
or two.
Right.
And
And this agreement does not cover that. So we're changing an agreement in a meeting that the attorney has to go back and add the date and add specifically what he believes needs to be in there for the future of the city.
I agree with that. I agree
And so
with that.
that's what I'm saying. I don't want to stop development, but again, I don't want to accept something that we haven't looked at and the attorney doesn't feel comfortable with.
Madam Mayor, I think you're right. You don't have to take action on this tonight. You can come back in 2 weeks, and if they want to have an agreement with us, they can give us an agreement that we're willing to sign.
Okay.
Without an agreement, they can build the line, hook up to it, and we'll just keep going servicing those two
those two units.
those 2 units without an agreement. I mean, that'll be a sewer service that's in a sewer extension that's in our right of way that we control and maintain, and that's fine.
But I would like to know, Al, that for that meeting, what is the impact on that, the dollar impact, to both of those locations? Please. So,
Okay,
we're
Gary.
gonna make a motion to table or this to the next meeting? or-
Yes.
Okay, that's- I'll
We have a
make
motion?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Resolution number 2018-36 endorses and supports the Hendry County Fair and Livestock Show Incorporated grant application to the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, DACS, for funding improvements to the Hendry County Fair and Livestock Show Arena and Pavilion, and acknowledges the facilities covered by the grant request to serve a public purpose. Resolution number 2018-36, like I said, for the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, endorsing and supporting the Hendry County Fair and Livestock Show. Grant application to DACS for funding improvements to the Hendry County Fair and Livestock Show Arena and Pavilion in Clewiston.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, resolution number 2018-37 revises the monthly garbage collection rates as contained in Appendix A, Section 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clewiston, Florida. The recommended motion is to approve resolution number 2018-37. And I know that the resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, revising the monthly garbage rate collections as contained in Appendix A, Section 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clewiston, pursuant to Section 74-114 of the Clewiston Code of Ordinances, and providing an effective date. The recommendation is to approve resolution number 2018-37. And I know that there's going to be discussion. Is there a motion to approve?
Mayor, the motion I'd like to make is that I think we ought to consider this, do some more research on this, and table this item at this time. I'm not ready to raise rates 40%
Right.
tonight. So.
And I don't believe any of us are. And so, but I do have, staff has given us some information from 2016 versus 2019. The increases, the tonnage fee increases that have gone up by 47%. And then the additional continued Lee County solid waste anticipated to increase 71% from 2016. I've had discussions with staff because I did have some questions, and so I agree that there's still some unanswered questions. In fact, with, when is the county's contract up with Lee County? We pay a tonnage fee, a pass-through rate to Hendry County, and I just wanted to have more discussions with the county. I know staff has already gone over for one meeting with the county on this and with Lee County, but I think that there's additional conversations that we should have with the county before we make any final decisions. I know that the budget for fiscal year 18 and 19 is approved, and that the fees have remained the same in that one, but that really and truly the fees go up in January with Lee County, and we need to make a decision over the next month, I'd say in October, on this issue, if we're not going to have additional discussion on this.
I got a question. Al, the trash that Lee County takes from here to there, do they burn it, and do they produce anything with it, or power or anything, or what? So I know the ashes come back to Hendry County.
Mm-hmm.
Are they using it for any power?
I would imagine they are. I'm not exactly sure what they do with it, but
I think Sherry, I believe that at the budget workshop you mentioned that they do use it for power, but it's the burning. They bring it. If you'd like to just update us on that conversation.
Yeah, during our budget workshops, we discussed a rate study that they do. It's located on their website, and I believe that we forwarded it to the commission too. It's a 5-year rate study, and included in that rate study and also in our conversations with them is the fact that yes, they do use when they burn the garbage, they do generate power with that, and they do sell this power, but it's not as lucrative as it once was. That's included in the rate study, and also the recyclables are not as lucrative. They're not able to get rid of the recyclables like they once were able to do. And I believe that's what our conversation was about.
The thing, Al, that Lee County's almost putting us out of business. We can't continue. They take this, they sell the power, they make money off of our trash, and they're increasing our rates yearly. I mean, do they know that they're going to put us out of business? I mean, we can't continue passing these increases to our citizens. They can't. $30 a month for a garbage rate, to me, is a little on the high side. So I'm hoping with this time that that we're going to have is, to have another conversation with Lee County, and I'll go if you want me to. I'll go with you.
But the issue is not only Lee County. Our contract is with Hendry County.
Correct. Yeah, but they're in the same boat too.
Well, their rate is lower. I mean, I'm sure in January there's going to have to be some changes made when the tonnage rate goes up. Again, it's going up from right now. I think I was told it's right now at $67.70. And it's going to go up in January to $72.45. Average amount that the city sends is 10,000 tons per year, which includes which then has a pass-through rate that we pay the county for processing our tonnage. Is that correct? I'm sorry, or somebody can answer the question, but
Actually, included in the tonnage fee is what we call the Hendry County $5 surcharge. And Lee County turns around and they take the $5 per ton that we're charged, the surcharge, and they reimburse, they pay that to Hendry County. And what that's for is it goes into a capital fund which takes care of the landfill. So it's only used to take care of the landfill issues when they have to expand or build something there. It's not used for anything else.
okay. Thank you, Sherry.
I think that we need to talk to Henry County first, because there's a $5 pass-through that comes back to Henry County.
Correct.
And we're paying more than I think than the city of LaBelle pays.
Right.
But I do realize, and we have to realize, we're 30 miles further.
Correct.
If you take it to the, you don't take it to the ash. It's 30. We're 30 miles further than LaBelle is,
Sure.
but we're paying more than LaBelle.
Right, well, they don't do it themselves. Don't they have Waste Pro to do it for them in LaBelle and outside the city limits? So those are some of the questions that we have to look at. And also, I know that it's been recommended to look at once a week pickup, or, do we continue with twice a week? Do we look at other options? Do we look at even looking at Hendry County? You're absolutely right. The conversation needs to be had with Hendry County of what other options we have. So I think that, there was a recommendation to table resolution number 2018-37 to the next meeting.
The thing, Mayor, that, and I know we do certain interlocks, with the county, but what good is it doing to us to be with the county? I mean, why aren't we doing this on ourselves? That's just a question.
Well, we've been doing it by ourselves, but at some point and we want to continue to do it ourselves, but we need to look at all options.
No, I'm saying that with the county. Why are we in the same contract with the county?
I don't think
we're not getting any special privileges being with the county, is what I'm saying.
So you want to go with just Lee County?
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Putting it out there.
You're pointing what out?
I'm putting that out there. Do we do it? Do we negotiate it ourselves? And there's obviously going through the county, we're not getting any special breaks on our prices. Nobody else is fighting. Who's fighting for us? Is the county fighting for us? Because they're the ones that we're kind of piggybacking off of them. Are they fighting with Lee County? Because they're going to be in the same situation we are.
They were at the table with us when we met with Lee County, and they're as concerned as we are because they're getting hit with the same increases.
Are they going up on their rates too this coming year?
They did last year. I'm told this year they did not, but they're going to have to make some adjustments in the future.
So I think those are all good conversations that we need to have with the county, and then also, staff, first of all, needs to have some additional conversations with Hendry County and with Lee County, and we need to look at all our options and see what needs to be done going forward. So is there a motion to table?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so Al, you'll bring that. I know that there's lots of questions that have been, or topics and suggestions and conversations, plus questions that have been asked on this. So if you could please keep us up to date on this, but we need to, before the next meeting, have some really good options to look at. Okay, resolution number 2018-38, the resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving a state aid to libraries grant agreement between the State of Florida Department of State and City of Clewiston for and on behalf of Hendry County Library Cooperative. I know that Natasha is here tonight. Natasha, thank you so much for all your work for the Hendry County Library Cooperative and as well as the City of Clewiston Library. Gary, have you looked at this agreement?
I have. It is good.
Okay, all right.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Get back.
Is there a second? Okay, motion and a second to approve resolution number 2018-38.
Did you speed?
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Let the record show that Commissioner Christine Peterson has joined us in person versus phone.
My apologies.
That's okay. We're on item number 11. Resolution number 2018-39. Resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving a lease agreement between the City of Clewiston and Hope Hospice and Community Service Incorporated. Carrie, has this agreement been reviewed?
Yes.
Okay, I believe you prepared this one.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And I know, I guess it was a discussion at last meeting that the rate had to go up because of the cost involved with maintaining that facility. Al, is that correct? Staff recommendation was to go to $450.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 2018-39, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving a lease agreement between the City of Clewiston and Hope Hospice and Community Services Incorporated. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, another resolution, 2018-40, authorizes the application for Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program, FERDAP, grant funding for the purchase and installation of playground equipment at Trinidad Park. Gary, this resolution, before I read it by title, is there, I think you mentioned something that you had a question about this one.
Mayor, section number 2 of the resolution needs to be deleted.
Okay. Okay, Lynn, yes.
Yeah, if you delete that, then we can't apply for the grant. That's the reason it's on there, and that's fine, but
When is-
I'm not actually here, I mean, it's not on there for your approval to apply. It's a criteria of this grant, this FERDAP grant, that it be included, that the project you're applying for funds be on the capital improvement schedule in
Okay.
our comprehensive plan.
Well, you have to go through the process to amend your comprehensive plan, which is a statutory process requiring public hearings. You can't just do it by resolution. So this resolution wouldn't accomplish what they are asking it to be accomplished. You can do that, but you're going to have to go through the process required by law.
Okay.
And that's fine. I think in 2007 it was done by resolution, but things may have changed, or maybe there was a public hearing, but
But it was done by resolution in 2007. It was done illegally.
Okay.
Or whatever, would you say 2007?
it was the phase 1 project,
When was that?
2004 or 5, I think they applied for.
The law hasn't changed since then. To adopt your comprehensive plan or change it, you have to have public hearings. It's got to be noticed in the paper, and it's got to be done by ordinance.
Okay, Lynn, I think I saw in here somewhere that the dates for the grant are through October.
15. Yeah, I found that this was, we had a tight deadline.
Okay.
There's an offer on the table from Sugar to contribute to this, and I was trying to leverage the
Sure.
50,000. If this gets us to 100,000, then we can get some nice playground equipment there. But
Okay.
I'm not going to argue with the attorney if we can't do that. And
Well, the section, I mean, the language in this section doesn't even make sense the way it's worded.
So let me ask a question. Can we, Gary, you're suggesting that paragraph 2 be removed?
That's right. And then if you need to amend your comprehensive plan, we just need to do it the right way. Which is, you go to the Planning and Zoning Commission first, and they make a recommendation, it's
sorry,
advertised.
As I'm thinking about this, now it's coming back to me. The only thing that FERDAP needs at this point is a resolution that you will do that in the future.
Okay.
Oh, there we go,
All right.
that solves it.
Okay. All right, so resolution number 2018-40, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston acknowledging application for the State of Florida for recreation assistance funding for the Trinidad Park Recreation Complex, directing an update to the city's comprehensive plan by updating the capital improvement schedule of the capital improvement element to include Trinidad Park recreation improvements in the future. Phase 3, and providing an effective date.
So, Mayor, I'd suggest that Section 2 be amended to say that the city will consider amending its local comprehensive plan to include the improvements pursuant to Florida statutes.
Okay. And that's under paragraph 2.
Yep.
That will make that change. Is that okay? Okay. And Kathy, you have that? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Is there a motion with the recommended changes to approve resolution number 2018-40? So moved. Have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So we'll make sure that those will get scheduled. Kathy, please.
Thank you.
Okay. Resolution number, you probably don't need to sit down. Resolution number 2018-41 authorizes the execution of the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection Clean Water Revolving Fund Planning Loan Agreement for the infrastructure improvements that service the city's wastewater treatment facility. The resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida relating to the State Revolving Fund Loan Program, making findings, authorizing the loan agreement, establishing pledge revenues, designated authorized representatives, providing assurances, providing for conflicts, severability, and effective date. Gary, have you looked at this agreement?
I have.
Any issues with this agreement?
No.
Okay. Lynn, I know that this is a project that you guys have been working on for a while. Is there anything else that you would, and the financial impact is $535,000. Okay.
Yeah, this is for phase 1.
Okay, okay. Any questions on this?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve resolution number 2018-41 and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Quick question.
Yes,
Has
sir.
anything been brought up to the mobile home parks that we get sewer from about doing something along the same lines to make sure that they're not taking on a bunch of groundwater as well?
I think that would be between DEP and those owners. I'm not sure that we have any input over what they do their system other than not letting them connect to us anymore.
I want to say there's been some discussion between some of the individual park owners and DEP, but I'm not privy to what the details were.
Okay. Scott, you're shaking your head yes, so you,
There's been some discussion, is exactly the right way to say that.
okay.
Now, we're talking about the ones out of the city
Right.
limits.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we're, cleaning the water that we're getting paid to clean and not over,
Right. And I think on this next one is about the inflow removal, and the inflow infiltration project. Al, I know that Danny's not here, Lynn and Danny's not here, but Commissioner Atkinson brings up a good point about the hookups for outside the city limits. We need to look at this issue in this whole process. The city advertised for bids for the inflow infiltration project, Phase 1. One bid was received in the amount of $438,255. The project consultant, Public Utility Management and Planning Services, recommends the bid be awarded to Utility Sealing Services, the lone bidder, in the amount of $438,255. Gary, is there anything on this one?
No, it's good.
Okay.
That's actually money that's paid back over a 30-year period. Right.
And according to
Right.
the agreement,
I think 20.
20
20 or
years.
30 year
Is
loan.
it 20?
I think so. Is it 20?
It's in the agreement we just approved.
20?
But again, it is something that will help us reduce the impact and extends the longevity of our plant. Is that not correct, Lynn?
Yes.
Okay. It's in the agreement that we just approved. And I don't know if it's, what page it's on. And then you don't know off the top of your head if it was 20 or 30.
It's 20.
Okay, all right. It's 20 years, okay? Any other questions? Is there anything else that you'd like to comment on this one?
And half of that is principal forgiveness,
Correct,
so
right.
we'll only be
And it's
repaying half
partnering
of
with the
that
DEP,
loan.
yes. Okay. Sherry, is there anything else on that that you wanted to add, other than the principal forgiveness? Okay. The recommended motion is to award the bid to Utility Sealing Services, LLC, in the amount of $438,255.
So moved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2018-42 authorizes the execution of the agreement between the City of Clewiston and USSI LLC for inflow correction, Phase 1, technical service for the 2017 inflow removal, inflow infiltration project. This is the agreement. Gary, have you reviewed the agreement?
I have.
Any issues?
No.
Okay. Resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving an agreement between the City of Clewiston and USSI LLC for Phase 1 of the 2017 inflow removal, inflow infiltration project. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in
got one
favor?
thing.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in the agreement giving them a timeline to finish? So they don't have 3 months.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. I have a- Yeah, equals 6 months.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, I'm getting that confused with the.
Okay, is there any other questions? Comments? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And that information is under Article 4 of the contract items. Okay. Agenda item number 16, authorization to purchase 2 Thompson bypass pumps and accessories. The City of Clewiston is required to perform certain actions pursuant to requirements under the FDEP. This is a requirement to install bypass pumps to 2 lift stations. This is all after Hurricane Irma. Every city is having to make adjustments to the requirements for their for pumps at lift stations. The financial impact is $106,869, and it is in the budget. The recommended motion is to approve the purchase of the 2 bypass pumps and accessories per the Thompson pump quote.
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments?
Mayor, where are these gonna be installed, do we know?
Yes.
Where?
The address is, one
there.
is at 620 East, go ahead.
620 East Sugar Land Highway and 806 is East Sugar Land Highway.
And then is there anything on that you want to add? Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments on this? Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, resolution number 2018-43 approves the renewal of the 2017 aerial mosquito control contract between the City of Clewiston and Clark Environmental Mosquito Management. A resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving the final renewal of the 2017 aerial mosquito control contract between the City of Clewiston and Clark Environmental Mosquito Management Incorporated. Gary, have you reviewed the agreement?
I have. The only thing that needs to be changed is the signature line needs to be for the mayor.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Sean.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Come forward, Sean.
Yes, ma'am. Sean Sheffield, Public Works.
And this is the same spray program. We haven't altered anything. We're going to do the same number of applications as we've done
That is
this
correct.
past year.
That is correct.
Okay. And that's to augment what you're doing from the ground.
Well, Clark Environmental does both ground and aerial treatments for us. The only thing we do in the city is the surveillances, where we trap mosquitoes and do the counts and turn them into Clark to support the need for either a ground or an air treatment.
Okay.
And,
Go ahead.
I was just saying, this year's budget, you also added a contingency in this mosquito control budget.
There is a contingency in there, and actually that's worked out to be a good thing, because after we had already gone through all of the budgeting process, where we notified that there was a new product out that I'm interested in looking at to see if by changing up the chemical we use, whether it would be more effective in the event that we've developed a resistance with the mosquitoes right now.
I couldn't find my numbers from last year. bottom line dollars, how did we compare on this contract to last year?
It's the same contract,
Same thing.
same amount money, same
dollar
money.
amount, okay.
Yes.
Nothing's changed.
So they didn't go up to 2% this year?
No, sir, it did not. And it was noted that they did not request it, and they were asked whether that was their thoughts, and no, their response was no, they did not ask for an increase, that they appreciated working with the city of Clewiston.
Thank you.
Okay. Recommended motion is to approve resolution number 2018-43.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2018-44 approves the renewal of the 2017 ground mosquito control contract between the City of Clewiston and Clark Environmental Mosquito Management. This financial impact is $178,610. The aerial spraying contract was $68,544. There's a breakdown of the analysis on spray miles, briquettes, and trap analysis, as well as the extension of the contract. Resolution number 2018-44, resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving the final renewal of the 2017 ground mosquito contract between the City of Clewiston and Clark Environmental Mosquito Management. Is there any questions on this?
Same thing.
Okay.
Needs to be for the mayor's signature.
Okay, all right.
Sean, I have a question for you. I mean, it's a quick question. What piece of equipment are they using now to do the ground spray? I know they were using the gators, and now they're using. Are they using pickup trucks? Is that I don't know. Are they still using the gators?
They are still using ATVs to spray, yes.
I thought they were using regular vehicles.
They use pickups in some areas.
I personally like the pickup more than the gators. I don't know the gators. I've noticed. I've seen both, and I saw. My opinion that I've seen that the truck reminds me of the old days when we used to do it. So that's just food for thought.
I agree.
The gator, I see the gator. I know when it works is when I go, and I'm right there, and the gator goes by, and I don't go.
Well, that's a good thing.
When
You're
the
not
truck-
supposed to
Well-
do that when it goes by.
Well, when the truck went by there, I could smell it. I mean, I'm
Do
just
you
looking-
cough?
The smell of,
Well, I'm just telling you, we all been here all our lives. When the plane used to go over us sometime, you couldn't look up. I haven't had that problem in years, so I don't know. I'm just telling you, we all been here for years.
that's because when the plane used to fly over, it was spraying dibrome.
So they
Dibrome
changed
had a significant smell, and it was very effective, but it was also hazardous to a lot of car finishes.
I just got to say, there.
And so we don't use it. It is still offered, but we don't use it after we had to paint 2 or 3 vehicles.
They're the only game in town, and I got to pick
right.
on them somehow.
I understand.
Sorry.
And whether we spray with an ATV or we spray with a small pickup truck, the rate of application at the speed designated on the label of the chemical, it doesn't matter if you're putting it out on a bicycle, an ATV, or a pickup truck. That speed is the controlling element.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have any questions. Any other questions of the Commissioner, Sean? Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Again, this recommended motion is to approve resolution number 2018-44.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Al, next item of the agenda is the award of disaster debris removal and disposal services.
Yes, Mayor, as you're aware, I sat on a ranking committee with several other folks from around the county, and it was an all-day ranking committee. We probably heard 9, 10, 11 proposals from some of the biggest debris contractors in the world. And after the ranking was done, there was 3 categories that we ranked them in. One was the emergency road clearing, one was the right-of-way clearing on the side of the roads and the hauling, and the other one was the debris management sites. Who would monitor the debris management sites? So for the city of Clewiston, For the right-of-way clearing, Ridgeville and Son ranked first. For the debris management sites, Wary Truck Lines ranked first. And for the emergency road clearing, Wary Truck Lines ranked first. And what we're asking the commission to do is in each category, there's 3 contractors that are in order in case the first one cannot perform. We would go to the second one. If that one can't perform, we would go to the third one. So we're asking the commission to approve the 3 recommended by the ranking committee.
When is the agreement with Hendry County? Is it just through this hurricane season? The interlocal, the agreement, or the debris management through the county?
I don't understand your question.
Well, the debris removal and disposal services, this past hurricane season, last year, the county handled it for us, and we know going forward we have to do something different.
Right.
But when is that agreement? Is it already terminated is it the end of this month?
I'll have to find out that for you. I'm not sure.
Okay. I was just curious when this would go into effect. I mean, is it for next hurricane season?
I think it'd be going into effect immediately.
Okay.
This says 17 and 18 that somewhere I just saw it.
Well, should be 18, 19, should it not? No, that was their RFP, was 2018, 17. That was the number of their RFP
Yeah,
that they went
okay.
out. But this was, we're talking about are we talking about for Gary and Doug? You might have to guide us on this because we don't have any, they submitted these RFPs, but we don't have any contracts or anything with these individuals yet. I guess we would have to have contracts and
I'm
agreements.
assuming that the contracts would be coming after you made your initial picks here.
Okay, and then so the dates then would be set at that time.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, is there any other questions or comments on this? Of course, with anything having to do with disaster recovery, we don't know the financial impact that's going to have. And I would think, since we would be reimbursed by FEMA, that there's a standard contract that we would use. Sherry, do you know? I know you guys have been going to a lot of the meetings with them under FEMA
I would imagine they would have their own contract.
obligation. Okay. All right.
This ranking committee was a different animal because being a federally funded program, we could not take into account any of the contractors being a local company whatsoever. Could not come into our decision making.
Was there a FEMA person there?
No, there wasn't a female person there, but the meeting was recorded.
Gary, what is your recommendation as the attorney? I know that they ranked them. I know that these are the top ranked in each one of these categories. Is there any other due diligence that we need to do other than to?
Well, I think that today you could indicate what your initial preference is subject to the contracts being provided.
Al, do we know how? I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead. No.
Excuse me. Do we know how much we had to pay for last year's hurricane cycle? Has that been determined, or is it zero, or we don't know yet? From the county,
We don't know yet.
we don't know yet. We don't have that number yet. Do you know when we're going to have it?
I do not. I could make.
Well, I think
call
FEMA
in.
reimbursements are way behind. I don't believe
Are
that they have not started. There's been maybe some funding, but I don't know. From what I've read, it looks like it's still way behind. I know the farmers have not been reimbursed. I don't know about municipalities. And Sherry, I don't know if you can go ahead and come and update us on that, if you've been getting any money.
No, what I'd like to say about the debris removal is that we will wait for the county to send us a bill. We have to wait for them to be funded by FEMA. And then the agreement with the city and the county is whatever the county doesn't get reimbursed for, that is relative to Clewiston, we are responsible for. And we have made an inquiry with the county a couple times. I have once, and I know that Sean has asked as well at another time. And each time they didn't know theirself, and they weren't comfortable giving us the exact numbers or giving us any numbers yet. So that's where we are with that. Now, going forward, we won't have that agreement anymore, and we will be responsible for paying for the debris. If we, in the event of a disaster, we will pay the debris expense ourselves up front, and then we would request from FEMA reimbursement.
So that would be more like what what happened during Wilma.
Yes.
We did it ourselves.
Yes,
And then
and
we,
just for clarification, it's not 100% is never a given, and there are criteria, and off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I believe the first 48 or 72 hours, something like that, is
100%.
a percentage, and then after that, it is a different. But this year, it was all up in the air because the state had not decided yet what their percentage was going to be, because you've got the federal, and then the state has federal money as well, and then they also provide a certain percentage. And I think that's what delayed a lot of that as well, is trying to decide waiting for the state to determine what percentage they were going to reimburse the entities. Their share was going to be.
thank you, Sherry. Okay. So tonight we need to indicate our preference to enter into contracts for right-of-way clearing and debris removal, management and operation of and debris management site, DMS, emergency road clearing, using the rankings that were provided under the RFP, Henry County's RFP, and ranked by the evaluation committee. That is three entities were ranked under A, B, and C, so that the recommendation is to enter into contracts with the three firms per zone, and to include in there, I guess, an agreed upon contract after review by the city attorney.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments or questions? Any opposed? Motion carries.
I think we need to be, I believe I read somewhere the county's contract was 1 October to 30 September.
Sorry?
And they did have a conversation about that because of that September, October date being right smack in the height of the season.
Budget, yeah.
So if we can adjust that timing so that we're not having to change horses midstream, if that's possible.
Okay.
Because that does span budget years.
So we were looking, I guess you're more through the hurricane season versus the
For
actual
continuity,
fiscal year budget.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Golf Course Advisory Board consists of 7 members. Tony Kaus has applied for the vacancy on the board and appears to be qualified. The motion is to appoint Tony Kaus to fill the vacancy on the Golf Course Advisory Board.
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
Tony serves as the president of the Women's Golf Association, and she'll be an excellent addition.
Okay. All right. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, there's public comments. Any person who wishes to speak on any matter can come forward and state their name for the record and discuss any city business. Mr. Cochran?
I wouldn't want to disappoint you. I apologize for not being here for the budget section. I had a doctor appointment that went on forever. And I didn't expect any comments. We're going to change the budget. But I just wanted to go on record with several comments. I appreciate all the hard work y'all put into the budget. Y'all spent a lot of extra time here, and staff spent a lot of extra time trying to present that to you. And I don't think anybody other than me came in and listened to all these hearings. But if they had, they would have seen how much effort went into this and what a good job y'all did. And it really is a complicated procedure. And I commend you for the work that you did. The comments I've got are the same 3 comments I have every year. The local option gas tax. We're taking in, and Ms. Howell can correct me if I'm wrong, but about $390,000
of this local option tax. And we're spending $192,000 out of that on resurfacing roads. Now, I understand that y'all are allowed to spend that difference of about $192,000 on median maintenance and some other things. But I think that violates the spirit of that ordinance or the law when it was passed. It was sold to the citizens. I think when the good citizens of Henry County approved this, they thought it was going to be used to resurface roads, not to maintain medians or some of this other nonsense. And we are spending, our roads are in sad shape. And what we're resurfacing this year is presented in feet, not miles. We're resurfacing slightly over 2 miles of roads. That's just, folks, we need to do some catch up. Now, I expect the whole, $389,000 to be spent on resurfaces roads, but I would like to at least see 75% next year. Please keep that in mind. We need to do some catch up. We're in sad shape.
Jerry, can I just?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to argue with you. I just want to just point out that, the city of Clewiston does have a resurfacing roadmap, or I shouldn't say roadmap, but I know Sean has it. He'll be more than happy to go over it with you. What, the roads normally 25 years, is when they should be resurfaced at the very outside of it. But I think if you see that map, I think you'll appreciate what's been done. I agree. We've stepped up the amount that needed to be done. But I believe with the budget that we have, the resurfacing of the roads and the map that Sean showed us and the work that's going to be done, I'd like for you to sit down with him if possible and look at it.
I'll be glad to,
Okay.
but we got some roads in sad shape, and I'm looking at what's projected for the next 3 or 4 years, and some of these roads that are in horrible shape. Or nothing. The gateway to our city in a lot of sense is Francisco. And it's not even on the map for the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, as you know,
They're out there
Which
paving
way?
right now.
Francisco doesn't belong to the city.
That does.
no, South
Back
Francisco
toward the
starts.
marina.
North
Right.
Francisco.
North
But the reason,
Francisco.
but Jerry, the reason why that's not being paved is that there is a ongoing federal
With the
government
trucks that are
project.
using
The
the
heavy
interstate.
truck.
And that project is, one project is winding down. And there is an agreement, or there was with the Corps of Engineers and the contractor to go back, and if there was any deterioration of the road, to address those issues. But don't forget, in June of 2019, the next project's going to start with heavier trucks coming on North Francisco.
Okay.
So that's why that road's not on there, because we can't do these roads, that road specifically,
Okay.
because of the impact of. Now, I'm not arguing with you that there's not other roads that need to be addressed, and I know that Sean's looked at those roads, and that we had hoped that we would receive grant funding for those roads, and it didn't work out. But I appreciate your comment, and yes, it's something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, I don't want to argue with anybody either.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is we're getting this money. I think slightly more than half of it should be spent on resurfacing roads. I would like to see another 100,000 or so put out toward roads. I don't think anybody's going to come in and say, hey, you're resurfacing too many roads. Second comment is on the police department. We're still paying for 2 police departments here in the city. And this year's budget was slightly over $2 million. And folks, it's time to fish or cut bait. And I don't blame this on the chief or his hands are tied. He's got a very limited budget to work with. And I'm looking at the patrolmen that we're hiring. It's the bottom of the barrel, folks. I mean, we get somebody good, they don't stay here. They're gone. They go to another department where they're making more. If you hire an officer at whatever the starting pay is, $37,000, $38,000 a year, and that officer's got a spouse and a couple of kids, I suspect they're not too far from food stamps. I don't know what the food stamp level is, but would you go out there and do that job with all the hazards that it's got for $37,000, $38,000 starting pay? We need to make that decision. We need to, say we're going to commit to a police department and start putting some money into it to have a first-class police department for a small city, or fold up shop. What we're doing now, to me, is we're kind of spinning our wheels.
Gary, I definitely cannot agree with you on that.
Okay.
But I just want to, I don't believe that we're at the bottom of the barrel in bringing in police officers. I believe that we have dedicated men and women who are like teachers, who love being in law enforcement and will go and serve the public. Just like teachers serve the public, and they're never paid enough money. I agree with you on that.
But
I'm proud of the police department and the men and women who represent the police department, and I've known for 25 years that there's always a revolving door between other agencies and our police department, and that is going to happen whether they're from the chief on down, that there's always changes.
That turnover costs us money. We hired somebody, kind of get them trained and get them up to speed, and they go over to Palm Beach County or Lee County and get a tremendous
we have
pay
them coming
raise.
our way. We've seen it go both ways. So
Okay.
I think I think that in law enforcement, I've seen it for 25 years plus. It's a revolving door. Just depends on where the officer wants to proceed with who they want to serve with, but I do not believe that we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. I believe we have very qualified men and women who are running the police department.
Absolutely, that I agree with. But okay, I won't belabor the point, and I don't want to belittle any officer. That's a general statement, not particular. We got some really good people, but a lot of times when we get really good people, they're gone. I don't know how many we've turned over this year. 8 or 9 people. That's a lot of turnover for a small
A
department.
lot of times you have that when a new administration comes in. When Chief Gutshaw got here, and then they hired me behind him. 365 days later, there was one person left that was working on the road.
You were hard to get along with.
when I came in.
I understand that.
I am straight arrow,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And that happens when you have a new administration
Okay,
come
well,
in, so.
I don't want to beat the point to death. The last one, unfortunately, is the golf course. When Mr. Rowland was elected, I think the city was in the hole on that golf course about close to $800,000. And that was he's really made a point of reducing that. We're down to, I think, $258,000 this year.
200.
Well,
By the time we finish.
Well, I'm looking at 258 in the budget, sir.
For this coming year.
Proposed, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's pays for 14,000 and change rounds of golf. That means every time somebody tees that ball up to play a round of golf, it's costing the city almost $18. That's not sustainable for a small community. If you look at how much we spend on that golf course, and I'm not saying close down the golf course. It does a lot of good. It's civic pride. It's used for a lot of different things. But I think we've kind of the last 2 or 3 years we reduced it to a little over $250,000. That's pretty good, and we've quit making that hard fight to get the cost down. And I understand it brings money in the community, but several months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, the city manager had mentioned a town in Tennessee. I think it was Dayton, Tennessee. It's on Lake Chickamauga. How much money fishing was bringing into that community. And you were going to get a report. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear a report back. I think all of us in this community understand how much fishing brings into this community. We're spending over $250,000 on a golf course, and we're spending zippo on fishing. We're leaving it to Marianne and her folks to try and bring more fishing to Clewiston. I think that's a mistake. I think we should be put for next budget year. I hope y'all look at that and maybe put some committees together to study that and make some recommendations. Doesn't mean you have to implement them, but I think we should be spending something on fishing. Personally, I don't care if there's never another tournament here because it impedes on my fishing. But for the good of the community and the city, I think we should be doing more to promote the lake than we are.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. The Hendrick County Tourism Development Council has a budget of over $300,000.
Yep.
$98,000 is for advertising, and then another amount like that, close to $100,000, is for tourism, fishing related, just fishing related. And that is paid by the heads and beds tax. Could we partner more with the TDC and do some things? Absolutely, but the TDC does have a very healthy budget.
I understand.
And they're continuing to promote fishing, and there's more tournaments that were just approved on, not only at a senior level but also team levels as well as junior bass tournaments. So I believe that it'd be nice to have a tournament every month, but I believe that the TDC has looked at the options of the tournaments that want to come here and what months they want to come here, and they've been partnering in trying to promote fishing in Clewiston.
Well, you're probably not aware, but there's a new bass trail that's been started, major dollars. I think Lice Place is going to pay $25,000. And they're partnered in with Bass Pro Shops, is one of the biggest partners. They're building a shop up in Okeechobee, up in Okeechobee. If you think he's sponsoring a tournament down in Clewiston, I think you're sadly mistaken. I think all that stuff's going to be out the north end of the lake.
If he doesn't redo his contract, if he doesn't start up there by the last day of October, I don't think he has to build.
The
I
city
think
of
he has to get $3
Okeechobee,
million.
the city of Okeechobee and Mr. Morris extended their contract for 3 more months.
Okay.
While he does
Did they?
while he does his due diligence.
Okay.
Due diligence on it.
But the point I'm
I
trying to
haven't
make is
seen that.
we're spending all this money on the golf course, and the city itself is not spending anything on fishing. Just consider appointing some, Mr. Godding and some people have got some experience like that. Appoint a committee and where they can make suggestions. You throw $25,000 or $50,000, and hey, the city is promoting this little tournament. We're doing 100% payback. Only cost that you really got into it are some staff people. I think if you don't do that, you're kind of missing the boat on promoting and getting people in here and having them stay overnight. This is all food for thought, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. Okay, this is public comments at any time. Anybody would like to come forward and speak? Mr. Potter?
Good evening. My name's David Potter. I live over on West Avenida Del Rio in the north end of Burner Road. So basically behind Tractor Supply. It's an R1B zoning district. I'm requesting the city ordinance section 110.525 to be amended to include home occupations in that R1B zone. Preferably internet or IT services. Still allowing and following the same rules that are currently in that ordinance.
So at your address, what you're asking is that because you are in R1B, the home occupation resolution does not allow similar type services of internet or just office, let's say, in your neighborhood, but it is allowed in other R1C. Is that?
Yeah, R1Z and some other zoning districts there are,
Okay.
but not in the R1B.
Okay. And is this one, is it something that's going to be open to the public, or I think that was one of the concerns when we originally did the...
No, well, personally for me and what I'm doing for internet, and I work for a local school, at the school, but running a home business, I'm missing out on a load of tax breaks and other benefits that I could get. And currently, I would have no customers, no inventory, no physical changes to the house or property in any way. It's an internet-based. Mail doesn't increase. Everything's electronic.
Okay. All right. And I know you stated the ordinance, but Gary, I know that we have a home occupation ordinance, and you said it was 110?
It's 110-525.
525. Okay. If you could look at that for us.
I will.
You and Now. And just review it and come back with a recommendation based on Mr. Potter's request.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other public comments at this time? Okay. All right. If there's not anything else from the public, Scott, do you have any updates for us? I know we had some questions about the Hampton project, and seems to be I think the commission approved some change orders 2 weeks ago.
Yes, we approved a change order 2 weeks ago. That change order has been executed. The contractor told me that they will be on site this week and have the paving done this week. That doesn't complete the project. The only thing left to be completed is insertion of a valve that the city's requested in addition to the original project, and the completion of the connection of the existing homes to the water line that's been installed for the project.
Okay, so I know 2 weeks ago we approved the change orders. You said it's been executed for the project, not manager, but the actual company that's doing the work. Are you just talking about the paving work then that's going to be completed coming up?
Yeah, part of the change order was some additional paving that we wanted them to do, and so they're going to come back and finish all that work.
So when will that be completed? Because
this week.
Okay.
They're scheduled to be out there Wednesday and Thursday. So,
Okay, and then you said the valve.
yeah, there's a valve that the utility department has asked us to put in to replace a valve that is not there. There should be one, and that'll help us in the future. So that was part of that change order that we took care of the last meeting.
Okay, so you don't know when that's going to be done? Is that going to be done this week as well?
No, that'll be done as wrapping up the connections, the plumbing connections they have to do.
Okay.
They're going to hire a subcontractor to come in and place that in the
Bless you.
concrete, asbestos concrete pipe, so they can insert the valve. It's a specialty thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. The pipe is what?
It's a asbestos concrete pipe, and so they'll do an insertion of the valve there, so they can do it while it's under pressure.
Okay, and how long would that take? The reason why I'm asking is that I know that the project seems to be going on, and I know it's been almost a year since they started work on this. I think it was November 2017, and so I just want to know when we're going to actually finish this project.
The project's inside. I'll get you a number. I'll get you a commitment from the company on the plumbing tomorrow.
Okay, well, on all of it, I mean, just overall. I know you said this week, but I've heard a lot of this week, and I know
The paving will be completed this week. That's what they've committed to.
Okay.
That's the visual impact that we'll see. The plumbing is just working in the yards, and then that valve is going to be at the intersection of Circle and the alley.
Okay,
So
so I
there'll be
guess
some
the question is
construction there.
when is everything going to go live, so to speak?
It's live.
Live right now, so there's no issues with it?
Everything's live right now. It's operating.
Okay,
We're going to switch the existing homes from the alley services to the services that have been installed in the front
in
yard.
the front yards,
So
okay.
they'll be trenching through the
How many
yards.
homes is that? How many homes?
I think
is
it's
that?
5.
5 homes on that block?
Yeah.
And
It's
is
the
this,
ones that Mr. Patel owns on that block.
Those are all.
so those are all on the south side of the Pasadena?
South side of Pasadena, right? North side of the alley.
And when are they going to do the trenching?
They've committed to do the paving this week. I haven't asked them about the trenching, but it's in the next couple of weeks is what it should occur. I will call them tomorrow and nail that down and get a firm date from them.
Al, if you can make sure
so
you
the
give us a
city
final,
manager knows.
an update of the final date of this project, when it's supposed to be done, completely done.
Can we give them a date when we want it done?
Well, I would have said,
At that point, pretty soon.
Well, I'll tell them that I've suggested that the thing's going to be completed in 2 weeks and let them say, boy, it'd be good if we had 21 days. And we'll see what they do. But we'll push them to get it done in 2 weeks.
okay, you said you executed the change orders with them. What was the date of the change orders with them?
They signed it the 18th.
Okay, all right. Of this month, October 18th. I mean, September 18th.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, any other questions on this? Scott, is there anything else? Any other updates? Anything else we need to know about from the city engineers?
No.
Okay.
That's good. We're proceeding with the corrections to the city's perimeter levy to address the FEMA issues.
Okay,
That's moving forward.
okay, thank you. City attorney?
Nothing?
Okay. Al?
Mayor, in front of you, I've given each of you a copy of, just got together this afternoon, the list of some of the accomplishments that the city's projects that we've taken on over the last year. And that is not to hand out to the public yet. It's just we've got a couple more pages we want to add in there. I've got one department that's still got to get some information to me. I just wanted to give you kind of the prototype. Once finalized, we plan on making several copies and allowing anybody in the community that wishes to have one to have a copy of it. Maybe hand it out to some of the churches and just to let them know
And we
some of the
can-
stuff we've been working on.
And we can upload it on the website?
We will.
Okay, all right.
It's a large document, so I didn't want to email
Maybe
it
by
to you
depart-
today.
Maybe by department, then we could do
Yeah,
that?
sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Is there anything else?
If you have any comments on that, please share them with me when you get time to review it.
Okay. Is there anything else?
That's all.
Okay. We'll do it up differently. We'll start with Commissioner Rodriguez tonight.
Okay? I don't either, but he said to hold for him. He'll be
Okay,
right
well, I
back.
have a
He
few
does.
things. So I think that, I know that a while back, and I know, Sherry, I think I talked to you about it, and maybe this, Debbie as well, but we talk about code lien amnesty. I know we had a period. Has that period already ended? Yes. Okay. Okay, I think we need to look at it again. I think that there's probably some outstanding code liens, and I think it needs to be looked at again. So if y'all could look at that and come back with a recommendation now for us, please. After the meeting, I have one repeat offender that I wanted to talk to you about, so I'll wait till then. And then a while back, I think it was in 2016, 2017, and I haven't asked Al about this, but we passed an ordinance about motel rooms being used as permanent dwellings. And I didn't know if we could get a report on that and how we were doing and checking on that and any issues that we might have from that.
Me?
Yes, I didn't know if Debbie was going to say something. I didn't mean for tonight. I mean, hadn't seen anything, so I was just curious about that.
Debbie McNeil, Community Improvement Division, Code Enforcement. We did pass the ordinance. The ordinance doesn't have any element in there for me to get in there and do a search, or it doesn't have any element of how they have to present, whether they are keeping these residents in there for the time frame that was stipulated in the ordinance. So the ordinance is missing a punishing element to it.
So we haven't done anything on that then at all? There's been no checks?
There's
or
no
anything?
way to do
Okay,
anything.
and Gary, can you address that for us for the next meeting, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Debbie. Commissioner Rowland, your turn.
2 or 3 things that Jerry talked about. When I took office in 2012, the previous 3 or 4 years, Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we hadn't paved any streets. Right?
That is correct.
And I think when I took office, I said, we're going to pave, we're going to get back on the cycle.
That is correct.
I really don't think it's right that we're just using $185,000 to $200,000. But it does, if you're going to pave $300,000 worth, then we're certainly not going to be able to have a budget that's 6.5 mils. You're going to go up. So that's one thing. The budget on the golf course last year, not the year that we've just went through, but the year before, was $200,523 or something like that. That's down from when I come back on the board. We were running 350,000 plus at the golf course. Going back to 2008, there was $700,000 supplemental money that went to the golf course. I don't know why it was all that high that year. But to rebut again what Jerry said, is I think the golf course with a lake is something that the people fish and play golf, people that come to this community. There's a lot of them. Certainly I didn't want to see it go back up, and I think by the time the year is finished, that it won't be any higher than the year before, nor will it go up higher in the next year. Robbie does an outstanding job, has ever since he's been here, and we'll continue to work towards certainly not going higher than the 200,000. That's all I got.
Okay, all right. I know the budget for the paving has come up, but if I'm not mistaken, Sean, is it 216,000 or Sherry, 216,000 for the paving?
We budgeted $200,000 for paving this year.
But there was additional funds that were put in there for,
Put in additional funds in the road materials, which is also under that road tax, for what we were going to refer to as hotspot
Right.
paving, where if we just had a 100-foot place next to an intersection or something that was bad, we had the ability, under the city manager's signature, to go in and pave that little piece.
okay, right. Go ahead. Yes.
I just have to say something for clarity's sake, though. I just wanted it explained that when we were talking about the gas taxes, and I'm going by off the top of my head, we have two different types of gas taxes. That we have the local option gas tax, and it, as you know, it's a little over $300,000. And then we have the new local option, which is $64,000. And it is supposed to only be used for the capital elements of a comprehensive plan, of which paving is an acceptable element. So what we're doing, or our budget, the support of our streets budget, is it's nothing that we've done new. This is something, as Mr. Rowland said, that if we do increase our paving, we will have to address where we get additional funding from. But we have and are allowed to use those funds to support our streets and sidewalks budget, which payroll, there are other things that are, it takes supplies to take care of the streets and that kind of thing. And I just wanted to say that for the record.
Okay, so you're saying it's about 364,200 plus is being used for this in this year's budget to pave the roads. 216.
No, to support the streets and sidewalks.
I know 364,000 in total between the two local gas option
Yes,
taxes.
it's a little bit more than
Okay.
that off the top of my head.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So, second.